Welcome to Enlighten Wisdom, beloved souls. What began as a simple rivalry has now erupted into a full-blown battlefield. The laughter that once echoed through shared moments is gone. Alliances have crumbled, and the once vibrant community that celebrated together now exists in a heavy silence, watching, waiting. At the very heart of it all, your name lingers on their lips like a forbidden chant, a reminder of the storm you never asked to enter. You didn't choose this war, but the moment you stepped into your power and claimed the throne, fragile egos cracked, hidden betrayals rose to the surface, and now the air is thick with tension. The streets are alive with whispers and warnings. Someone is about to get jumped. Emotions are running high, the heat is rising, and the fallout is no longer a matter of if, but when. This is the peak of the drama, where the facade fades and consequences come knocking. Once they stood united, bound not by love but by a shared mission to see you fall. Their weapons were not swords but sharpened tongues. Gossip, slander, manipulation, even spiritual warfare became their arsenal. They cloaked their attacks in charm, smiling as they spun their web of lies, painting you as the villain, the outsider, the threat. And for a time, their voices overpowered yours. Their unity gave them confidence, and they convinced themselves they were invincible, that they held the upper hand. But something shifted. The masks they wore so proudly began to slip. The very unity that once gave them strength has now become the poison eating away at their foundation. Paranoia creeps in, trust erodes, and suspicion grows. Not toward you, but toward each other. They no longer ask whether you were the problem. Now, they question one another. Who twisted the truth first? Who exaggerated the lies? Who secretly admired the person they were all supposed to hate? The illusions they built begin to crumble under the weight of truth. You were never the enemy. You were the mirror that reflected their flaws, the light that exposed their darkness. Without you to rally against, they are forced to turn inward, and they despise what they find. The truth is, they were never truly friends. Their bond was forged in shared bitterness, not genuine connection. And now that the glue holding them together, hatred for you, is gone, the whole facade is falling apart. Their so-called family, built on deception and performance, is collapsing before their eyes. The community that once moved as one has fractured into chaos. The liars now lie to each other. The manipulators are caught in their own manipulations. The very games they once played to tear you down are now being used against them. And the lines between reality and illusion have all but disappeared. Ironically, the chaos they wished upon you is now their own prison. They've spent so long crafting a false world that they can no longer see clearly. And it all began the moment they lost focus on the one thing that held them together, you. When the enemy no longer has a common target, they begin to turn on themselves. That's exactly what's happening now. Betrayals are bubbling beneath the surface. Secrets are spilling like broken glass, and the energy around them is unraveling fast. They sowed chaos, and now they're drowning in it. But this is only the beginning. The whispers have grown into a roar, and the tension is now thick enough to slice through. Somewhere within their once tight circle, someone has let the truth slip. And now the very people who once stood side by side are glancing over their shoulders, suspicious and scared, wondering who will strike first. It's no longer about you. It's about survival. The bonds they once thought were unbreakable are now showing their cracks, splintering beneath the weight of their own deception. Once best friends have become bitter enemies. Those who laughed together, plotted together, and moved as one are now holding secret meetings, forming new alliances behind closed doors, each one preparing to sacrifice the other if it means saving themselves. They feel it in their bones, something is coming, and none of them want to be the one left to face the consequences. They used to believe they were untouchable, that the lies they spread and the chaos they caused would never catch up with them. But paranoia has a way of creeping in slowly until it swallows everything. Every conversation now drips with suspicion. Every glance feels like a test. Did they hear what I said? Do they know what I did? Who's going to betray me next? The fear is eating them alive from the inside, and the more they try to hide it, the more their guilt shows. And then it happens, the betrayal. It starts quietly, with just one. Maybe they were the weakest. Maybe they felt cornered. Maybe they were just the first to see the inevitable and chose to act. Whatever the reason, the result is the same. Someone talks. Secrets that were supposed to die in silence are spilled like broken glass on concrete. Private conversations are exposed. Names are named. Blame is tossed like fire, desperate to land on someone else. Anyone else. That first betrayal is the spark. It lights the match that sets the entire illusion ablaze. Loyalty evaporates. Trust disintegrates. What was once a united front has become a battlefield of its own. Some still scramble to keep up the performance, clinging to the illusion of unity. But it's too late. The damage is irreversible. Those who once led the charge against you are now being hunted from within. And as the chaos unfolds, a chilling reality hangs over them like a storm cloud. Someone is about to get jumped. Whether it's physical, social, or spiritual doesn't matter. The reckoning has begun. Maybe it'll be the one who couldn't keep quiet, maybe the one who got tangled in their own lies, or perhaps the one who thought they were above it all only to learn they were the most disposable. No matter who it is, one truth stands tall. They're turning on each other and it's spiraling fast. The plan was perfect, until it wasn't. They thought they could manipulate the story forever, that their narrative would never crack. But when the unraveling began, it wasn't just a collapse, it was an implosion. Now the ones who once vowed undying loyalty are scrambling, desperate to rewrite the story before it consumes them. It's every man for himself. The first cracks reveal themselves in quiet whispers, panicked texts, and rushed meetings in the shadows. They're running scared. And fear, when mixed with desperation, makes people sloppy. Some are erasing digital footprints, deleting messages, blocking contacts, pretending like none of it ever happened, hoping they can still escape what's coming. Some are now scrambling to rewrite history, pretending they were never involved at all. They're shifting blame onto the next person in line, hoping to quietly fade into the background before the storm fully hits. But it's far too late for that. The truth has already surfaced, and it's dragging them down like an anchor in deep water. The real chaos begins when the weakest link finally breaks. Whether out of guilt or fear, someone starts talking, really talking. No more whispers, no more coded hints. Full confessions spill out like a dam collapsing. Names are dropped. Roles are exposed. Who orchestrated what? Who lied about what? And who was complicit from the very beginning? With one confession, the entire foundation of their scheme collapses into dust. Panic erupts. Those who once wore arrogance like armor, mocking your every move, are now frantically pointing fingers, each one trying to dodge the consequences and escape the fallout. Their so-called unity is gone. The alliances they once claimed were ironclad have shattered beyond repair. The same people who plotted in secret meetings and sent silent nods across rooms are now scrambling in full-blown damage control mode. Every accusation breeds another betrayal. Every cover-up reveals a deeper lie. The ones who were loudest in tearing you down, who took center stage in the smear campaign, are now the first to crumble under pressure. They cry out for mercy, screaming innocence, but their own inner circle knows the truth. And perhaps the darkest part of it all? This unraveling is only the beginning of their fall, because now the real consequences are surfacing, and they're far worse than anyone expected. It's no longer just about broken trust or social fallout. It's about exposed criminal activity, underhanded dealings, and the spiritual warfare they foolishly initiated. Every dirty secret they thought would stay buried is now clawing its way into the light. Careers are crumbling, reputations are tarnished beyond repair, finances are in shambles, relationships, personal and professional, are breaking apart. Nothing is safe. They were so obsessed with bringing you down, so consumed with plotting your demise, that they never considered what would happen when the tables turned. Now they're caught in the very trap they laid for you. They thought they were the hunters, strategic, in control. But now they're the hunted. They believed they were the puppet masters pulling strings from behind the curtain. But now they're tangled in a web of their own making. The fear they tried to instill in you is now eating them alive. And the worst part, they can feel it, deep down. They know it's only going to get worse. Because beneath all the lies and manipulation was a force they never understood. What they dismissed as petty drama or casual slander was, in truth, spiritual warfare. Every lie they told, every attack they launched, every dark intention they set against you, it all carried weight. It wasn't just gossip. It wasn't harmless. It was energy. And now that energy is coming back, demanding balance. They summoned forces they couldn't control, made deals they didn't fully understand. And now, those forces are collecting their due. And now the contracts are broken. Without even realizing it, they had tied their fate to something far greater than themselves. And the moment you walked away, their power began to wither. That's because their strength never truly came from within. It came from leeching off of you. Your energy, your attention, your reactions. Those were the lifelines that kept them united and alive. You were the common target, the fuel for their illusion of control. But everything changed the moment you stopped playing the game. The moment you refused to react, to entertain the chaos, to fight back, the entire dynamic shifted. Now those who once appeared strong are falling apart at the seams. They're exhausted. They're drained. They spent so long feeding on your light that they forgot how to generate their own. And now, with you gone, they have nothing left to draw from. The power they flaunted wasn't real. It was borrowed, and it was never theirs to keep. The signs are everywhere now. Restless nights haunted by anxiety, unexplained paranoia creeping into their minds, streaks of bad luck that came out of nowhere. Karma has arrived. The very attacks they launched toward you are returning to them tenfold. It's hitting harder than they ever imagined. Some are physically sick. Others are watching their money disappear. Their relationships fall apart. Their opportunities vanish into thin air. They dug traps for you, carefully crafted to destroy you, but now they're falling into their own snares. Because karma doesn't forget. It remembers every action, every lie, every attempt to break someone protected by divine purpose. They laughed when they thought they were winning. They mocked you, convinced of your weakness. But what they didn't realize is that you were never alone. You were divinely shielded, spiritually guarded. Every curse they sent was a boomerang. Every word meant to hurt you only sealed their own downfall. Now panic has set in. Some of them are trying to make things right, sending hollow apologies, offering fake kindness, pretending to seek peace. But it's too late. This isn't about what they're saying now. It's about what they did when they thought there would be no consequences. The energy they unleashed can't be taken back. Their fate is already in motion. Others, still blind in their arrogance, are doubling down, refusing to acknowledge the storm forming around them. But they feel it. They know something isn't right. The air is heavy. The darkness is creeping in. And deep down, they understand this was never just about you. It was about what they awakened through their actions. And the worst part? They can't stop what's coming. You already know the game was rigged from the start. And if you're tuned in, you can feel it. The walls are closing in around them. There was someone close to them, someone they trusted, who had a hidden mission. Someone embedded in their circle, sent with one purpose: to destroy you. Maybe they came to gather secrets, maybe to gain your trust just to break it, or to sabotage your progress from the inside out. But what they didn't expect was that the divine had a plan greater than their scheme. They had a plan. They planted a spy, a carefully chosen weapon, designed to get close to you, to study you, and ultimately to dismantle you from the inside. This person was supposed to infiltrate your world, play the role, gain your trust, and carry out the mission. But something unexpected happened. The longer they spent in your presence, the more their perception began to shift. You weren't the villain they were warned about. You weren't the arrogant, manipulative, or dangerous figure they had painted in their narratives. In fact, you were nothing like the character they had crafted. You were calm, grounded, sincere. You didn't play power games. You weren't weak, but your strength was quiet, real, and deeply rooted in authenticity. You weren't a threat, at least not in the way they made it seem. You were simply being yourself, and that, more than anything, disrupted everything they had been told to believe. At first, they tried to resist. They reminded themselves of their mission, repeated the lies they had been fed, and clung to the role they had agreed to play. But the more they observed, the harder it became to ignore the truth. You weren't the problem. The real corruption came from the very people who had sent them. The lies, the manipulation, the twisted reality. It all originated from that circle. And now, the person sent to betray you finds themselves at a crossroads. Do they continue with the mission, knowing it's built on deception? Do they go through with a betrayal that no longer feels justified? Or do they walk away from it all, choosing truth over loyalty, even if it makes them a traitor in the eyes of those they once trusted? In the end, they choose you. Not because you asked them to, not because you pleaded for their allegiance, but because the truth is undeniable. They can no longer participate in something so dark, so corrupted. Turning their back on the people who sent them, they make the boldest move of all, switching sides. And in doing so, they become the greatest threat to the very community they were once part of. Why? Because now they know too much. They were in the rooms where the plans were made. They heard the whispers, saw the schemes, and know exactly who was involved and how far the deception went. And those who once gave them orders, they know it too. Panic is setting in among them, not because of you, but because they've lost control of their own weapon. The person they used to destroy you is now a wild card with all their secrets in hand. Now uncertainty reigns. They don't know what this person will say, what truths will come to light, or who will be exposed next. The fear is thick because their entire operation has been compromised. And the most terrifying part, they never saw it coming. In their arrogance, they believed every move was calculated, every betrayal carefully timed. But they failed to account for the one thing they couldn't control: truth. And now, it's on their doorstep, knocking louder than ever. They whispered lies behind your back, carefully crafting stories to tarnish your name and planting rumors designed to turn others against you. With calculated malice, they set traps, confident you would walk right into them. Their intention was clear. They wanted to see you shattered, humiliated, stripped of everything that made you whole. But the outcome was not what they expected, because instead of watching you fall, they unknowingly set the stage for their own downfall. At first, the consequences were subtle, easy to dismiss. Small inconveniences here, unexpected obstacles there, minor misfortunes that seemed coincidental, a missed opportunity, a strained relationship, financial setbacks creeping in without reason. But as time passed, the pattern could no longer be ignored. One by one, the weapons they aimed at you began to ricochet. The rumors, the slander, the manipulation, all of it started unraveling, turning against them with eerie precision. Some of them had worked hard to ruin your reputation. They whispered in ears, ignited gossip like wildfire, and painted you as the villain, the outsider, the one no one should trust. But lies are fragile by nature. All it takes is one crack in the illusion, one contradiction, one moment of clarity for the truth to shine through. And when it did, everything they built on deception began to crumble. The very people they convinced to stand against you started questioning their narrative. Doubt spread like wildfire, and suddenly, those same mouths that once eagerly spread slander were struggling to explain why their stories no longer added up. Their credibility, which they had so carefully manufactured, fell apart overnight. Now it's their names being questioned. The crowd they once manipulated has turned inward, recognizing who the real deceivers were all along. But it wasn't just words they used. They went deeper, darker. Some played with spiritual energy, engaging in practices meant to curse you, to drain your strength, to sabotage your peace. They tapped into forces they didn't understand, believing they were immune to consequences. They thought they could harness power without paying the price. But the universe doesn't play favorites. Energy, once set into motion, always returns to its source. What you send out, intentionally or not, comes back. And now they're feeling it. The sleepless nights that no amount of rest can fix, the heavy anxiety that refuses to lift, the unexplained illnesses, the strange losses, the way money slips through their fingers and support disappears without warning. It's not random. It's the return of everything they sent out. They played a dangerous game, and now the energy they tried to use against you is consuming them instead. They thought they were in control, masters of the game, untouchable in their schemes. For a while, they truly believed they were orchestrating your downfall from a place of safety. But what they failed to realize was that they weren't just playing a game. They were playing with fire. And now, those flames are closing in. consuming everything they thought they had built. The illusion of power has shattered, and the fire they so confidently sparked is burning them alive. Every calculated move, every act of sabotage, every stolen piece of your essence has ignited a blaze they can no longer contain. Some of them tried to rob you, not just in physical form, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. They wanted your essence. They craved your ideas, your voice, your energy, your divine gifts. They thought that by stealing your blessings, by mimicking your light, they could somehow become you. But blessings are not something that can be taken by force or deception. They are divinely assigned, uniquely coded for the soul meant to carry them. What they stole never fit, and now it's slipping through their fingers like sand. The very things they tried to claim as their own have become the seeds of their undoing. Where they once held influence, now they find themselves ignored. Where doors once opened with ease, now they face walls. They tried to block your path, and now they stand before their own dead ends. This wasn't just envy, it was betrayal. A betrayal so layered, so deeply rooted in insecurity, that they thought they could break you and still rise. They tried to control your narrative, silence your voice, manipulate your truth. But in doing so, they revealed more about themselves than they ever intended. They were so busy digging a pit for you that they didn't notice how deep they were burying themselves. There's a universal truth they forgot. You can't set someone else's house on fire without burning your own to the ground. And now here they stand, surrounded by the smoldering ruins of their own deception. The traps they set for you have backfired spectacularly. The pit they dug now holds their own shattered illusions. And the cruelest irony? They have no one to blame but themselves. The cracks in their foundation have deepened into chasms. Everything they once used to prop themselves up, lies, manipulation, false alliances, is now collapsing beneath them. It's all unraveling. The schemes, the betrayals, the carefully constructed masks, they've come full circle, and the universe is asking for payment. Panic is taking root in their minds. Fear is showing on their faces. The group they once operated within no longer feels like a family. The unity they clung to was always fake, an illusion built on mutual hatred, not real connection. And now, as that illusion falls apart, they're desperate to deflect blame, desperate to protect their egos, their secrets, their lies. So what do? They search for a scapegoat. They turn their eyes to the weakest link, the one who cracked first, the one who panicked, the one who talked too much. There's always one. The person who thought they could save themselves by betraying the rest, by spilling just enough truth to stay safe. But now, that person is in the hot seat, the new target. Whispers are turning into outright accusations. The group is splintering under pressure, and paranoia is eating them from within. Who gave up our secrets? They demand. Fingers are pointing. Trust is gone. And what was once a tightly controlled alliance is now a battlefield of betrayal and fear. They begin turning on each other with ruthless precision, pointing fingers, cornering the one who slipped up, making them feel the very fear they once delighted in inflicting on others. But it's too late. Their desperation to escape the consequences only ensures that they cannot. The person who made the wrong move, whether they got sloppy, got caught in a lie, or tried to manipulate the wrong individual, has now become the scapegoat. And without hesitation, they are being cast out. The same people who once clapped for them, who backed them in the shadows, have now labeled them dead weight. There are no second chances, no mercy. In a group built on lies and fear, loyalty doesn't exist. It's all performance, all conditional. The moment someone becomes a liability, they are disposable. That's the price. Someone must be sacrificed. And for some, it won't just be social exile. The ones who played the dirtiest, who crossed lines that should have never been touched, are facing something much more brutal. Financial devastation, public exposure, legal consequences, even physical danger. The fallout is massive. The fire they ignited is now swallowing them whole. And the bitter irony? All of this is happening because they dared to come against a chosen one. This was never just drama, never just petty human conflict. This was about spiritual law, divine order, cosmic justice. And now they realize, far too late, that the cost of their actions is heavier than they ever imagined. You didn't need to fight. You didn't need revenge. You didn't even need to defend yourself. The moment you stepped away from the chaos, the unraveling began. The structure they built on lies and manipulation couldn't hold without you. Your presence, your light, your energy. That was the glue keeping their entire game together. Even when they plotted against you, they needed you. They fed on your kindness, distorted your truth, and used your name to give their narratives weight. But now, with you gone, they have nothing left. No target, no direction, no unity, just fear, collapse, and confusion. And the most beautiful part? This was never your battle to fight. The universe, karma, divine law, whatever name you give it, is already handling everything. The balance is being restored. All you have to do is stay in alignment, stay focused, stay protected, keep walking forward. While they scramble in panic, while they claw at each other trying to escape the consequences of their own making, you rise. You ascend. Your only task now is to protect your peace, guard your energy, and let the forces of truth and justice do what they do best. Because here's what's clear now. You were never the problem. You were the revelation, the lesson they refused to learn, and now, chosen one, you don't need to lift a single finger. Karma is working overtime on your behalf. The very people who mocked your struggle, who gloated when you were low, who believed they were above the law, are now destroying themselves. They thought they could play dirty and walk away unscathed. But the universe never forgets. Every lie they told, every betrayal they carried out, every underhanded move they made, it's all coming back to them, magnified. And you? You are free. Free from their drama. Free from the burden of their negativity. Free from the illusion that you ever needed to prove yourself to people who were never worthy of your energy. Your only focus now is simple. Walk in peace, stay in your power, and continue forward in purpose. The rest is already being handled. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm, to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlighten wisdom.